When you don't go to Geico.com, car insurance can be hard. Like early 90s heavy metal hard.
I'm yelling and screaming and I'm loud. Roar!
Geico makes it easy. You can review and update your policy or report a claim on Geico.com or the Geico mobile app. Because shouldn't we all have a little less stress in our lives?
I'm not even upset about anything!
Blog Talk Radio.
All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Shadow Travels. We are back on Blog Talk Radio after a little bit of a stab at Mixlr, which we just couldn't get to work so well. So thank you for joining us, and we will try to get that intro music back up and running pretty soon. Joining me, as always, is Ray.
All right. Hello. You know what, Kevin? I got to say, I kind of miss that intro music, too.
I do, too. It seems very strange without it.
Yeah.
We'll have to see what we can do about that, definitely.
Right.
And tonight we go as far west as we've been, and this is also a reschedule, much like last week. Tonight it's Nicole Strickland, the founder of the San Diego Paranormal Research Society, and she is on now, so I'm going to click over and we will talk to her. Nicole, are you there?
Yes, I am. How are you guys?
How are you? Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Yes, doing great. Excited to talk with you guys.
Yeah, thank you for calling in, Nicole.
Sorry for all the confusion about, the craziness switching back and forth between stations, but I think this is going to work out much better than what we were going to do. So,
great.
And appreciate
awesome.
you. Yeah, and I know, I apologize because we spoke earlier about maybe having some clips on. Wouldn't have been able to do that on the other one. We could have done it here, so we'll just have to have you come back on sometime with clips, and we can go through.
That'll be great. Yeah.
So definitely the furthest west we have been on the show. We've kind of been all around the Northeast. We were down in Alabama last week, but you are the furthest west. Yes, you are. San Diego. So
that is awesome. Yeah, representing Southern California. Yep.
Absolutely.
I actually love New York. So my heart's with New York as well as it is with here. So that's pretty awesome. You guys are what, about 2 hours away from the city? Not too far, Syracuse.
We're about 4 hours, about 3 to 4 hours away from the city. Yep.
A lot closer than I am, that's for sure.
Yeah, but you know what? In the middle of February, you have much better weather. So.
That's true, but it's so funny because I still tell people are like, whoa, we missed the winter wonderland during Christmas. We wish we could just have Christmas Eve and have the snow falling. But no, it has to be sunny with 80 degrees, so,
Yeah, the snow is fun around Christmas. By the end of February, beginning of March, it gets really old really fast. So
yeah, I bet.
So, whenever we have somebody on that has kind of founded a group or does mostly investigations, it's kind of neat because I always think that we have a lot more in common. And it's wonderful to have on kind of our special guests or people that own or run different places, but it always seems like we have much more to talk about with another group, so to speak. So how did you found the team? How did you get going with it?
Oh, my goodness. Well, I've always had an interest in the paranormal, like even when I was a child and growing up and being in middle school and high school. It wasn't until I had a really profound experience with the spirit of my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, that I actually got out in the field and started investigating. So prior to 2009, I worked with a bunch of different Southern California-based teams going on investigations with them, but I always, after a while, I kind of had this dream to found my own team, and so in 2009, that's when I found the San Diego Paranormal Research Society, and it's been a journey ever since. And it's been great. We've go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah, I was just going to say we focus on private residences, businesses, and historical locations, and we're a very educational team. We offer classes and presentations on how to conduct a proper and professional-based paranormal research project. So we work a lot with the community of San Diego as well. So it's pretty fun. We enjoy it.
That's fantastic. And I think, Ray, and I'm sure you'll agree that kind of sounds like our methodology as well, with the way we go about things.
Yeah, and talking with you, that's how I felt too. I was like, wow, these guys, it seems like we have similar philosophies and methodologies, which is great. It's always nice to meet fellow teams that kind of share your common goal, so that's great.
Yeah, and it seems like, there's fewer and fewer teams out there like that these days.
Right, I know. I know.
And it was going to be one of my points I always...
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to kind of bring that up later on, that it's one of the things that makes it kind of difficult, I think, to break through. But we pride ourselves on our professionalism, and I think that's gotten us a couple of really good and important places to investigate.
Absolutely.
So it sounds like
we
definitely have that in common. I didn't want to jump into the Queen Mary stuff yet, but because I know that there's a lot to talk about.
Oh my goodness!
But I think I'm going to anyway. So because it's so funny that I was just going to say that one of our questions that we always ask people is, what's your dream location to investigate? Well, if you could go anywhere and you can investigate any place, where would you go? And my answer is always Queen Mary. So you have done many times my dream investigation. So what's it like?
Oh my goodness. Going back, I was first introduced to the Queen Mary when I was in college, and my best friend and I, we went to college out of state, and we came back here and for spring break, and we both embarked on a cruise, which is, they have a Carnival cruise port like right next to the Queen Mary. So my friend's parents live in Huntington Beach, which is about like 20 minutes south of Long Beach, where the Queen Mary is. So on the day of the cruise, her mom drove us, and we had to pass right past the Queen Mary to get to the Carnival cruise port. And I remember sitting in the back seat of the car, and I saw the Queen Mary for the very first time. This was in 2000, and I said to myself, I will be back someday. So that day came in 2005 when I actually, went up the elevator and walked up the gangway and stepped aboard the ship, and I immediately felt just a very strong soul connection to the ship. And the first words that I said to myself when I stepped aboard her decks were, I have been here before, but I hadn't. I've never gone before, but it was just almost surreal. Right. Maybe like, I don't know if there's some sort of past life thing going on or what, but it just was an immediate connection. And, the Queen Mary is noted, to be among paranormal researchers as being like a huge mecca. I mean, I know it's stated to be probably in the top, not probably, I know some say number 6, some say like but it's usually in the top 10 most haunted places on the planet. But I mean, besides the fact that she has a very strong spiritual aura and has a lot of consistent paranormal energy throughout the liner, I mean, she's noted as being probably the most historical vessel ever to sail the seas, at least in my opinion. She just has unprecedented history. So I think that's what plays into a lot of her ghostly and spiritual events. So
now, do you yourself have any type of psychic abilities?
I think that everyone has the capability to go into a place and be intuitive and be sensitive. I just think it's sometimes like a sport. The more you practice or the more you're exposed to it, the better you're going to get. I mean, I don't classify myself as psychic or medium, no, but I tend to work intuitively. I tend to take after my grandmother and my mom in the sense that I'm empathic and can feel energies sometimes and things like that. So I just feel like I've done this since the early 2000s, and I feel like where I am now as opposed to where I was then, I'm more developed, I guess, intuitively than I was. But, I mean, I've gone into the Queen Mary and many times in all areas of the liner, and I've had both personal experiences as well as some pretty amazing evidence, not just in audio form, but photos as well. So it's, every time I step aboard, it's like a brand new experience. It's just, and I've probably done to date close to about 50 paranormal projects in various areas of the liner. So, and then of course, the internet, you type in Queen Mary, you're going to hear a lot about the former first and third class pool, and you're going to hear a lot about the after engine room, and you're going to hear a lot about the boiler rooms. But for people that haven't gone, that are not only interested in the historical aspect, but also the paranormal aspect, I encourage people to just, be open to it, walk around the ship, because anywhere on that ship is game to have a paranormal experience. If you're staying in one of the hotel decks, which encompass either A, B, or M decks, M deck, I would say absolutely take the time to investigate your cabin or stateroom. And, a lot of people have experiences in the hotel decks for sure. So it's a journey.
Why do you think
it's a huge journey?
Why do you think that the ship has so much activity? Just because
goodness.
so many people are on it, or was there a particular reason?
I think it's a really good question. I think that on one end of the spectrum, I think that there's that elusive part, and maybe we're in the mortal realm not supposed to know the exact reasons as to why the ship is such a huge magnet for spiritual phenomena. But in terms of the paranormal theories, I would say that history and the paranormal, as we know, share such a strong friendship and such a kinship that I think her history alone provides a huge foundation for her paranormal events. Then you have the fact that the ship, some of the materials that the ship is made out of, her iron, her manganese bronze propellers, the quartzite mother of pearl ceiling in the pool. She has many miles of copper wiring. All of those elements are said to attract and possibly contain spiritual energy. You have the fact that she sits in a body of water. And then I think that there's a huge, so I think, too, there's a psychokinetic force as well, where you have so many people day in and day out from all walks of life, from, different parts of the U.S. as well as different parts of the world, traveling to the Queen Mary to learn about her history and to experience some of her paranormal events. So I think because of that too, you have it's like this whole psychokinetic force going on there as well. And one of the tour guides, who's a good friend of mine, his name is Tony. He runs the paranormal ship walk tours aboard the ship, and it's a really neat 2-hour tour, and he takes you to different parts of the ship that are hot spot areas, and talks about the history and some of the paranormal claims. He actually is an amateur radio operator and builds crystal radios. So him and I were talking one day, and he was like, Nicole, I think the ship is one big giant crystal radio. And I thought for a second, wow, that's a pretty astute theory, because you have the grounding planes on the grounding plane in the bridge area of the ship. You have the copper wiring throughout the ship, and you have the quartz crystal in the pool area. So maybe that's something to be talked about, because maybe it's just one giant transmitter and receiver. Who knows? But then I just think there's all these other reasons that maybe we're not meant to know either. I think there's many. Those seem
to be all very valid points and very valid reasons.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's totally agree with you. Ray, I want to throw it over to you. I don't want to leave you out.
Yeah, I'm just curious. You've been there many, many times. I'm curious to know if you have any particular like repeat spirits, if you will, that you might communicate with or visit.
Absolutely. I think that the ship is home to both residual and intelligent energy, and from different periods of her sailing years. So we have her pre-World War II peacetime sailing years, then her World War II years, then her post-World War II years, where she became what she was before World War II, and that was a peacetime cruise liner. So not cruise liner, but luxury liner is what I meant to say. And there are a few intelligent energies. The two probably most talked about on the ship One, her name is Jackie, and she's a little girl, about 6 years old, and no one really knows her origins. There is a rumor on the internet that her last name is Torin. I've actually done research on that. I can't seem to find anything that would prove that, this Jackie on the ship is definitely has the last name Torin. So we don't know her origins. We don't know if maybe she sailed on the ship at one point, or maybe if she somehow comes from the Titanic, or maybe somehow is not even connected to the ship, but is there for a purpose. And I'll touch upon that in a little bit. But she's a very lovable little spirit. She's most often seen and felt in the form of first and third class pool, but I've experienced her in many other areas of the liner. She almost looks like a little Shirley Temple, if you will, kind of very similar to that actress Shirley Temple. And then we have, I'm just going to, due to the being respectful to the family, I'm just going to say his initials when talking about him, but the initials of JP. He was an 18-year-old crew member who sadly, I guess he joined the ship in March of 1966, and I think he was on 3 prior voyages, and so he basically sadly passed away in the after engine room. So what happened is, we don't actually really know exactly what happened. He was found wedged in between the watertight door number 13. So he had crushing injuries to the chest and other parts of his body. So there have been rumors going around saying that he was playing a game of chicken and didn't get out of the door in time. I don't know if that's true at all, because, the crew was trained really intensely, and I just don't think that he would have necessarily been playing a game. Perhaps it was some freak accident where he didn't really know the timing of the doors. Some of the current crews say that the watertight doors take about 45 seconds to close, but in actuality it takes only 6. And JP was originally assigned to the boiler room, so on this voyage he was assigned to the after engine room. So maybe he wasn't as familiar with the doors in the after engine room as he was in the boiler room. So he, again, was 18 years old at the time. For some reason, he has been spotted several times. I have seen him on the ship as well in boiler room number 3. There were 5 boiler rooms. So he's been seen, again, in the after engine room, in the boiler rooms, as well as other areas of the ship. So with him and Jackie, I would say those 2 are probably the most talked about. I would say going on to number 3 probably is Senior Second Officer William Eric Stark, who tragically passed away as well. He had a cold one night, and he wanted to have some gin just to help him feel better, and so he accidentally consumed tetrachloride thinking it was gin, and passed away a few days later. So he's been seen wandering around the ship, as well as former captains. We have many different types of soldiers, former passengers as well. So it's home to many visual sightings, many. There's a really huge phenomenon that's actually increased recently, and we don't know exactly why, but this occurs mostly in the former first and third class pool, where there's a lot of shadow figure sightings, especially on the upper decks of the pool. The second level, there's only 2 levels, so the second level of the pool. So we're currently trying to investigate that as well. But it's, pretty much any experience you can have on the Queen Mary. But I will say this, I do not feel, based on my experiences there, that there's anything malevolent or anything evil. Yes, people died in tragic ways, but so there's that left over. But, based on, I'm not going to name the name of the show, but last year in October, one of the popular shows on Travel Channel depicted the Queen Mary as being a ship with evil forces. And I just have to say, for someone who spent hours on that ship, that's absolutely false. So
my guess would be that's the same show that depicts every place as having evil spirits.
Pretty much, yep. We're on to the same one, yeah. Yeah.
But that's one of the
Oh.
questions we ask a lot of people too, because we actually have never come across anything demonic or or even all that negative. Maybe people or their spirits are confused or there's some anger there, but never anything what we would call demonic. So I'm curious.
Either have we. Yep.
Never. Nope.
Never, not one. I mean, and it's like I think people use the word negative when meaning malevolent, but to me, I like to separate because someone can get touched, and that could be a negative experience for them, but that doesn't mean that the entity that touched them is completely evil or malevolent.
Absolutely.
So I don't know. I'm with you guys. We haven't experienced anything along those lines either, and I think a lot of it's how you put how you project yourself. If you go in with a positive mindset and you go in having respect, then you lessen the chance of making yourself more vulnerable. So, yeah.
That's very true, and that's definitely our message that we try to put out there, even to team members, and I'm sure on your team you've had some come and go like we have.
Yes.
And sometimes they don't last because of that reason, because they insist on everything that they see. So I wanted to ask you maybe just a couple of general questions about investigating, and then we'll get into some other places that you've investigated around Southern California. But what do you think the most difficult thing is about having a team out there right now?
Oh, my goodness. Well, I think probably one of the more obvious ones is that you have people that may not have any prior knowledge of real-life investigation, and they're armchair ghost hunters, if you will. They'll watch the TV shows. They're loyal to all the sensational TV shows, and then they're like, okay, well, I want to join a team. So then they join a team like your team or our, my team, and they're going to want to act like they're going to get confused. They're thinking that, well, we should be doing what the TV show's doing, and then it's constant training and it's constant reminding them, no, this is not how real-life paranormal research is. So I think that's a huge problem right there. And I would say, I think just having a bunch of personalities together and, trying to make sure that everyone gets along, everyone is devoted to the team's mission and the team's goals. If there's people out there on the team that are drama queens or kings even, and they just constantly want friction, trying to keep that at bay. So I think a lot of it is, so those two, I guess, and I could go on and on.
Well, we're looking, it's very rare that we do this, but we're looking to add a team member. And so my question for you would be, when you go to add a team member, what are some things that you look for, or how do you screen them?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. This is an excellent question, and I've actually had to make our requirements all that much more strict because of past experiences. I used to say that, I'm fine with taking on a member that has no experience. That was many years ago. I'm very reluctant about doing that now because of what I was just talking about previously. Of course, some people that come along, even though they don't have experience, might be just right for the team. Or maybe they have a different specialty that would, make them just, a good fit for the team. But generally speaking, I think having at least some exposure to real-life paranormal investigation. I used to say 21 years or over, or 21 years, at least minimum 21 years, but, based on our experience, that's still quite young. So, I would want someone a little bit older. So we've upped the age to about 25. Basically, we interview, we have a pre-interview form, and then we meet the person in person and we go over a bunch of questions and have a discussion. And if we were to take that person on, they're on for a probationary period of about 3 months. They have to go on at least 2 to 3 investigations during that time. they have to be willing to follow through with the team and investigator requirements. So if it's someone that just wants to go on the investigation for thrills and chills and they don't want to follow through with research or evidence review, that's a big problem. So you know what? Let me see here. I have on our website. I know I'm forgetting some other things, but that's basically I would say, the general. Let me see. Eligibility. Okay. So of course, commitment level. They have to understand the commitment level and things like that. Preferably not to be a member of another team. I don't know if I necessarily believe in exclusivity, but if they're, let's say, a member of. Sorry about that. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
You there?
Yeah. Yes.
Sorry about that. I don't know what that was. Yes, can you hear me?
Okay. Yep.
Okay, sorry. So anyways, if they're a member of like 6 other teams, maybe I would want to make sure that they, have time to devote to the team that they're wanting to be a part of. General professional, respectable attitude. Let's see. And basically everything I said before. I'm probably rambling on now.
No, that's
okay. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything I forget. Just basically being able to fit in with the team and cause I was more lenient in the past than I am now, and I'm way more strict now. And when we meet with prospective clients, we lay it out ahead of time, and we say this is what's expected, A, B, C, D, and all the way down through the alphabet, so they know ahead of time and they know up front. So that's
I think we're kind of in, obviously not having done it nearly as long as you, but we're in that same position now where we've definitely ramped it up a little bit this time around.
Right.
Much like you said, we got burned a couple times, and I think this is more of a process this time going through, and down to the simple fact of we put the ad out on our Facebook page with specific directions on how to go about doing this if you're interested, and we find that people can't even follow those. So
yeah, I know. I know exactly.
There's many steps along the way that. Go ahead, Ray.
Yeah,
Are there any things that I didn't mention that you do, or do you pretty much kind of have the same protocol for accepting new people?
It sounded very similar. Like we now go through an interview and application process, and we put it all out there. We let people know. And what I was going to say, one of the biggest things that I think people get surprised by, and even though we say it constantly, we don't charge people for our services, but we inform people, like, you need to have the financial ability to drive to certain locations, to buy equipment, to replace equipment, to sometimes pay to stay at a hotel or whatnot. But there's a lot of financial cost. There's a lot of cost associated with being a paranormal investigator, and not everyone understands the time and dedication and financial resources that we put in ourselves.
Right, and that's a good point. I think too, trying to weed out the thrill seekers from the actual true paranormal researchers.
Right.
And I know we've had problems in the past where people would want to go on the investigations and they would participate on the investigations, but they were not following through with client reports or case reports or helping with evidence review. And so that's a huge no-no.
Yeah,
if you want to be on this team, you're going to have the time. I know family and work and health come first and all that, but you're going to have to find the time to help with evidence review. So that's a huge one too. So.
Yeah, and that's very. I think, Ray, you would agree that's very similar to one of our situations we were in. With some previous team members.
Right. Yeah, I've been there too. We've been there too, for sure.
So, you say you do mostly residential. I mean, you do everything, but primarily residential cases you have?
We have residential and historical. So I would say we probably edge more on historical, but we do residential cases as well. But again, just being as strict as we are with taking on a new member, we're also pretty selective when it comes to taking on private residence case. On average, and this is going to sound like we're completely super strict and anal, but on average, let's say per 10 requests, we might take on 1, possibly 2 out of those 10. So I know some of the requests that come through are just nonsense, not to be, rude, but they're just, maybe someone watched a scary movie or they had a few drinks and they're like, oh, come look at our house, or someone emails.
I think, Nicole, that your team is like the West Coast version of us. I'm pretty sure.
I swear, I'm telling you, we should definitely do link exchanges and stuff, absolutely. But, like if you're going to email us with all these health issues or saying how you and your husband aren't getting along or how everyone in the household has all these anxiety issues, I don't certainly want to go in there and make matters worse. I would want, they need to see other people first before assuming that the problems are due to the paranormal. So I find a lot of those cases. Especially now, we've had about 5 requests in the past 2 weeks. And it's like,
we've had some interesting phone calls in the last week. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. But
yes, absolutely.
So let me ask you, what's the key? I guess that's something that you kind of key in on or tips you off that this is a legitimate problem.
Oh my gosh, I think I don't know if it's this. I guess it's everything combined. It's the original request. If they take the time to answer all of our questions like we ask them to on the forum, if they sound somewhat educated and can write a sentence without all kinds of grammatical errors. I know that sounds like I'm being judgmental, but if they're sounding genuine, we're all laughing here, but if they're sounding genuine, it's just a general feeling. Like if we're reviewing an initial request and we have the heebie-jeebies or we have the, oh my gosh, we're very doubtful about this, I would say when in doubt, don't do it. But I would say based on the initial request, and then, of course, we follow up with a phone interview, and then when talking in the phone interview, if what's being said matches what's in the request and not something different, if it doesn't sound overly dramatic and overly sensational, those are some of the things that we look into. But if it's some requests that we've had mimic exactly what some of the shows have depicted. So if it sounds like a scenario from Ghost Adventures, I know that you're watching the shows. And I just said, I'm not just that show, but some of the other sensational shows. It's like, really, come on.
This is starting to freak me out because this is, I feel like we're talking to, like, some of our other team members out there.
Okay, isn't that crazy? I swear. But it is.
It is crazy.
Sometimes you just have to laugh at it because, and it's your safety going in, as you know, it's your safety when you go into someone's home. It's not just theirs. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So we're pretty, needless to say, we're pretty selective. But,
I got to tell you this, one of our other team members is listening and he just messaged me. I got Facebook open and he says, he goes, she's our West Coast twin. So
I know, right? I swear we should. Man, it would be awesome to investigate with you guys sometime, man. That would be so cool because it sounds like we're, it's like you're the back east, northeast version of Escalera, totally. I mean,
it's not out of the realm of possibility. Yeah. I have a cousin who moved from Syracuse to, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but Chula Vista. I think it's right below you.
Chula Vista is like, it's about, my grandmother used to live there. She passed on, but I have family that lives down there.
Yeah, she's one of those who, in dead of winter here, she's posting the pictures of hanging out in the hot tub, and those are the times where I love where we are. I love fall and the changes, and those are the times I'm like, I don't want to see this anymore. Close the computer.
We can check with Well, I would say, Ray, we'll check with accounting and see if they can get us some travel vouchers. Right?
Yeah, right.
To,
Oh my gosh,
Exactly.
absolutely. I know there's places. I'd love to go to Rolling Hills one time, and even some other places too, up in the New York area. That would be awesome.
We're very lucky up here, and I think probably, Nicole, in the same way that you guys are, is that we have so many historic houses. Obviously ours go back to Revolutionary War time, a few Civil War era houses. Yours go back to the Spanish.
Exactly.
It kind of leads me into my next question is, aside from the Queen Mary, where else do you like to investigate, or where has been another really great spot down your way
Oh my
that
goodness.
you guys have checked out?
Yeah, many locations in San Diego. We've done a couple ships with the San Diego Maritime Museum, the Star of India, and the Berkeley Ferry Boat. We've done the William Heath Davis House, which is in downtown San Diego. A couple spots in Old Town. I've been into the Whaley House many times. I've never officially investigated it because it's extremely expensive. But the bulk of our ongoing research is spent at the Rancho Buena Vista Adobe, which is up in Vista, and that's North County, San Diego. So it's about 25 minutes north of San Diego, and it's along with its neighboring Rancho Guajome. It was an 1850s land rancho that has seen many, many, many owners throughout its past, even some famous families that are pertinent to the San Diego pioneer history. So it was built in 1850, and it was originally deeded to a Sueño Indian named Felipe Subria. And it's had, like I said, many, many, many owners. It's like almost 2,000 acres of just beautiful land. So it's run now by the city of Vista, and the Friends of the Rancho Buena Vista Adobe help run the tours and keep the museum portion up and running. We've been hosting our Haunted History Spirits of the Adobe tours there since 2011, and we do them once a month, which acts as a fundraiser for the Adobe. And we've also probably conducted, I would say, about 7 private research projects at the Adobe, and there's something very special about it. I can't put it into words, but in the past 2 years, my co-director, Allie, and I have been getting almost consistent communication from the same energies from month to month. We're starting to recognize vocal patterns. We're starting to get historically relevant answers to our questions, things like that. So it's a phenomenal place, phenomenal. So we have extra tours this month. We have one Thursday night and then two on Friday night. So I would say that by far is probably our favorite or most compelling spot besides the Queen Mary to conduct research. And I've been to places like Waverly Hills. That I went in 2009 with Dale Kaczmarek's team, the Ghost Research Society. Now that was a phenomenal case too, just because of the history, and I mean in terms of the theories of the shadow figures. I mean I had to go see it really to believe it, and I went, and yes, you see these morphing figures, before you, and it's fascinating. So I find every place I investigate there is a learning opportunity, and there's something unique about each place I investigate. So it's like I said, I consider myself a student of the paranormal. I don't believe in experts. I don't believe in that. I believe that people can specialize in some things, but yeah.
So let me ask you this, because I think, and I hope I'm not wrong in saying this because it probably sounds stupid, but are you a school counselor? Oh, okay.
I am.
I saw that
Yes.
You're a counselor.
Yeah, I am.
You are a school counselor, or no? You're
I
just
am
a regular.
Yep.
You are a school
I just made it up. No, I am a school. Yeah. So right now I don't have a contract, but I'm subbing, so I have some long terms mixed in with some day-to-days, and I teach as well. But I've had elementary, middle, and high school experience. So yeah.
Well, see, because I think I mentioned to you before, but I'm a high school teacher, Ray's an administrator. one of the other people on the team is also a high school teacher. So
there
you
go.
definitely
so
are
awesome.
West Coast twins, but
I know, right?
it really
and then, yeah. Go ahead.
it plays into the whole education part of it. It really does.
It does.
You've mentioned it a couple times
does.
now about how educating people about this, and yeah, that's really what we do too. I mean, we have a location here. We have an old mansion down in the city of Syracuse that we do frequent tours, and we have people come in. We just did a big event there a couple of weeks ago. But we do that. We educate them. Yep, we show them how to use the equipment. We explain what's going on. And like you were saying,
yep.
and Ray, I think you could agree with this, but some people love that aspect of it, and some people are disappointed because they want to see the screaming, running around kind of stuff.
Right.
Absolutely. And that's obviously not what we do. But the education part of it is much more important. Yep.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah, we just had an event too this last weekend at the Escondido Public Library where we investigated there in August, but we presented the findings, and a lot of people there were asked a lot of important questions because we had like a half-hour Q&A session, and they were asking very thought-provoking questions about proper ways to investigate and how to use equipment and things like that. So gosh, education is so key, absolutely. So, and then my co-director, Allie, she runs a daycare too, so still kind of in the whole education aspect or realm. It's just education is so important.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Ray, I'll toss it back to you.
Sure. So Queen Mary, of course, is one of the places we talked about, kind of our dream spots. I know Kevin especially loves it there, or would love to go there.
That would be awesome. Yes.
For me, more in your area, I know it's more north of you, but the Winchester House and Alcatraz in particular, I'm obsessed with. I've never been, but I'm curious if you've been to either one of those locations.
I have not been to the Winchester House, but I have been to Alcatraz. I mean, have you guys been to San Francisco at all in period, or?
No, I have never been to California, no.
Oh, my goodness, yeah. If you come to California, you almost have to spend a couple of weeks and go up the coast, San Diego, L.A., Santa Barbara, do the whole thing. But San Francisco, another amazing, amazing city. Alcatraz, I went twice as a little girl, and just it captivated me then. I was invited to participate in an overnight investigation a few years ago, but sadly I could not go. But, I keep hearing things that, yes, you can investigate there with permission, or no, you can't. So I guess, if you're really interested in it, you can try and get in. I know that they do make you do, which to me, I would be more than happy to do this, is they have you do volunteer work to kind of clean up the land, the island that it's on, things like that. But the prison itself it's huge, and the minute you go in, you get the chills down your spine. There's just so much energy there, so much. I thought I would love to just go again. Next time I'm in San Francisco, I'm going to go and just do the historical tour because it's been a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's been a lot of...
That's definitely on my bucket list.
Oh, absolutely. It would be great to have a good group of people, get a good group of people together, and then if you do get permission to go in, we could all do an investigation there. But there's a lot of people have had many, many, many experiences there. The last time I was in San Francisco, my mom and I stayed at the Fairmont, and we had a view of the city that looked out onto the bay, and I would sit there at my desk at night. My mom would be sleeping. It'd be like maybe 1, 2 in the morning, and I would sit there and I would watch the searchlight go around and around, and it was just so ominous from the prison. It was just, I want to go tomorrow now. Drive to go tomorrow. So, yeah.
That's
awesome.
amazing. I mean, I'm picturing it, and it just seems very cool to be able to go to.
Yeah, and the Winchester House too. I mean, I've never been. I know of people that have gone. I think it's a very historical spot in San Jose. Do I think it's haunted? I don't know. I've never been there. A lot of people think that it's haunted by Sarah Winchester's weird mind that she had because she felt that people were out to get her, and that's why she obviously kept adding on to the house. But just to go in and have a tour and see it would be amazing.
Right.
So.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, and you guys out there with Rolling Hills too. Ooh, that's where I want to go next.
We've been lucky enough to do Eastern State Penitentiary in Philadelphia. So
that's on my list too.
I got to tell you, it was, and I say this in a good way, but it was from the paranormal perspective a bit disappointing. It's
really?
incredible. It's an incredible place to go in the day as well as night.
It looks like it.
The history is the history's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, we really didn't get much, and we were there 3 hours, almost 3.5 hours, and it was it's absolutely impressive to be there in the middle of the night and think about what it must have been like to really be there. But we just I don't know if maybe it was just a night that we were there, could have been, but you know, physically and historically it's incredible. From the paranormal perspective, it was, I don't know, maybe it was a very slow night. We really didn't get much anything, which is disappointing. But,
it could be.
You know, but at the same time, I would recommend it in a heartbeat for people to go to and go there during the day, see what it was like, and then go back at night and do your investigation.
I would love to. It's on my list, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely very cool. There's no doubt about that. And it's reasonable price-wise. I think it was pretty reasonable price-wise if you have even a medium-sized team. You know, it's affordable.
That's good.
When you guys are out on investigations, what's your number one piece of equipment that you really like to use?
Oh my God! Besides ourselves, man.
Yep.
I would say, if I had to choose one, if I was only allotted one. For me, it would be an audio recorder, just because I really enjoy the whole aspect of audio experiments, both EVP and ITC. It's so hard to choose one. I mean, I think that if you have a small classic kit, I would want a good working camera, a good working video camera that can see in night vision, a good audio recorder, and a good environmental meter that can at least measure EMF and temperature. But to have one, oh my gosh, that's so hard. I'd have to go with the audio recorder. I don't know. What about you guys? I'm probably way off compared to what.
No,
I
there's no right or wrong answer. I just always like to throw that out there.
I know. Yeah, it's a good question.
I really. You know, we've had a lot of luck, and I know people don't, and I know it's a debatable piece of equipment, but we've had a lot of luck with our spirit box. And it's really
that's so
it's
funny
nothing
you
fancy.
Say that. Yeah.
Go ahead.
We have two, especially at the Adobe, too. So I would say, if I had to go with a second, I would say, gosh, audio recorder, spirit box, too, because not at every spot, but at the Adobe, that's where we've gotten a lot of our very clear, contextually relevant responses.
Right.
So that's awesome to hear that you guys have good luck with it too. Which one do you use? We use an old Radio Shack hack, and we've used the PSP-11, but it's usually the old Radio Shack hack that we get the best results.
We have the old, I don't remember the number on it. It's the one that looks like a little transistor radio. One of the first models. We've actually been on investigations where people have used a Novelus, and I was all excited to try it, and I wasn't really all that impressed with it. I mean, it seemed to just bring up the same words again and again and again.
Ours
we've had more luck
too at times.
We've had more luck with just our simple little spirit box than much else, and our K2 meters. You know, the K2 meters have been fantastic. So sometimes simpler the better, for sure.
I totally agree. Totally agree.
Mine here, it's the PSB7 spirit box.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Ray. I couldn't remember the number. That's
Oh yeah, the
and of course,
PSP-7, yeah.
you know, and I know that he doesn't always like me to say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Ray is another one of our tools that we use, because he is our empath psychic medium.
Awesome. There we go.
On the team. So, and we've had some. Do you guys use one?
We do. We use a couple consultants, one that lives in Vegas and the other one lives in Chicago. But it's great because we've had times where we've gone in and done the investigation, and we've had our medium, we didn't share anything with her, but we would take pictures of the location and we would send them to her, and then she would validate through some of the pictures, oh, okay, well, I'm sensing this, and it would validate some of our personal experiences, even our evidence at times. So I think that anytime you can, combine the intuitive with the scientific, which is what we like to do, and anytime you can validate a scientific piece of data, whether it's a photograph or an audio piece with an intuitive impression, I think that's golden. So that's what we look for.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty much what we do, right, Ray? I mean, would you say it's,
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and we've
had...
I
loved your answer when you said, when you were asked, Nicole, I loved your answer when you said, beside ourselves, because that's one of the answers I give, besides ourself, our own, our own feeling, our own intuition, our own sensitivity.
It's so important.
I have my little book that I always bring around, my little leather book, and I write things down, so as they come up throughout the night, I can, and things are kind of validated, I can refer back to my book and say, hey, check it out, I wrote this down, I picked this up, this is what I was picking up. But
Absolutely.
also, a camera, the audio equipment, to help validate, like, oh, I feel something here, we can take pictures, or with the EMF, we pick up, we get little spikes on there.
Right.
Just that validation is always amazing for me, I know.
Yeah, I know. You get that visceral, really cool. It's hard to put in words, but you get that feeling in your body where you just, it's just a really cool feeling when you can validate like that. So, absolutely. But yeah, I would love to one time come on again and share some of the ITC clips that we have gotten at the Adobe, because some of them are just, probably like the clips that you guys get, they're just spine tingling in a way.
Yeah, so. they are. I mean, we've had some that, and of course this always happens when we have a big event, nothing happens, and when it's just us, everything happens.
I know.
It never fails.
Yeah.
At the mansion I was speaking about earlier to you, we've been there. Oh boy, I don't even know. Probably 20 times at least in the last year and a half, and we're kind of regulars there. And I know you'll understand this when I say it, but we've kind of gotten to know the spirits that are there, and they've gotten to know us. And
Absolutely.
We were in pretty regular communication with two little boys, and they used to come through the spirit box very clearly. I mean, very clearly. All the time.
Wow.
And it's a big. It was an abolitionist family. Syracuse was a big abolitionist city, so there's a lot of possibilities that the home at one time hid runaway slaves, and Ray has even managed to get in touch with them. Some of them, one in particular, who kind of was our guide for the place and bringing other people forward. So.
I get goosebumps.
It was very cool. Very cool. And things have quieted down lately, but Ray and I were just speaking about this today. Sometimes I think places can be, for lack of a better word, over-investigated. And like Ray was saying to me earlier today, when they've told their story or you've figured out their problem, then they don't need to really talk to you anymore about anything.
That's so true. That is so true. Absolutely.
Yep. And I think we've kind of hit that point with that particular building now. So, we're moving on to a couple others, but we got a couple of real cool things coming up.
That's great.
I did. Yeah. I always, as we kind of near the end here in our last, couple minutes, I always like to give our guests the opportunity to plug their webpage, their Facebook page, what they're going to be doing, books that they're selling. So if you want to go ahead and tell everybody how to find you, how to contact you if they need to.
Oh, sure. Well, I'm on Facebook personally, so just facebook.com, and then it's N / or whatever, NICOLE, P as in Paul, ISD as in dog. It sounds like it says pissed, but it's not. It stands for Paranormal Investigator of San Diego. And then the SDPRS is on Facebook, so just / our acronym SDPRS. And then our website is all one word, San Diego Paranormal Research.com. And then I have my own little Queen Mary website and blog, and that is all one word, spiritedqueenmary.com. And then my author site, which is fairly new, and that's all one word, author NicoleStrickland.com. And I don't have an H in my name, it's just NICOLE. So those are the main websites. And let's see, we're just continuing on with our Spirits of the Adobe tours, and we have a couple presentations coming up there, as well as in December there's this really cool play in San Diego, and we're going to present about the paranormal before the play. So those are some of the events. And then let's see, in terms of books, I have written 2 Queen Mary books, and I switched publishers, so the books are going to come out again in November. So my first book, The Haunted Queen of the Seas, The Living Legend of the RMS Queen Mary, a second edition of that's going to be done in November. And then my second book, Spirited Queen Mary, Her Haunted Legends, is going to be coming out in November. And then let's see, I have a new one that I'm writing with Schiffer, and that's about historically haunted San Diego spots. And that'll be out, I think, sometime in spring of 2017. And then I have a few others that I'm working on as well. So, but that's pretty much, that's about it.
You're busy.
Yeah, so are you guys.
You're definitely busy.
Awesome, yeah. Well, it's that time of year, too. I think all of us are more busy around this time. But
yeah. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming on tonight. It was really great talking to you. And
absolutely.
We're now going to refer to you as our twin group out west, because you definitely are. There's no doubt about that.
I know. I can't wait to tell Allie this. Yeah, I'm like, you'll never believe it. Oh, my gosh, absolutely. We'll have to do link exchanges and definitely keep in touch for sure.
Sure. Maybe we can meet halfway across the country in Chicago or something someday.
There you go.
That would be awesome. Yes, that would be so cool. Do investigation together. Totally.
Absolutely. That'd be great. We'll definitely have you back on again. Sure thing. Have a great night, Nicole.
You too. Have a good night, and we'll talk to each other soon.
Yeah,
all right.
Sounds good. Take it easy.
All right.
Oh, very cool, Ray. That was, definitely a lot of similarities.
Yeah, without a doubt. And, there's so much more. We could have a whole episode just about the Queen Mary, I believe. So I look forward to having Nicole on again. Yeah,
absolutely. And she's going to bring some of her EVPs on, too, which will be great. So the plan will be, if for people that are listening or people that are going to be listening to this after we publish it, we are back on Blog Talk, so we'll be here next Tuesday night and back in the old format. So hopefully people will listen and call in, and we'll see everybody then.
And if we don't get that intro, you might even hear Kevin singing.
Nobody needs to hear Kevin singing, but
hopefully
we'll get that intro.
Sorry, Kevin.
Yeah, he didn't. Maybe I'll hum or whistle or something. But all right, everybody, we'll catch up with you next week. Have a good night.
Bye.
When you don't go to Geico.com, car insurance can be confusing. Like Swedish techno confusing.
Bark, bark, meow, meow. Dance with me, purple cow. Bark, bark, meow, meow. Ooh, you lovely cow.
Geico makes it easy. With 24/7 access, all you have to do is go to geico.com and you could save money on car insurance. It just makes sense. Unlike,
Dance with me, purple cow. I like your move.